Welcome to the Wednesday weekly team prosperity meeting. This week, we're going to get into a topic, it's time to get real about what you're doing, about the opportunity, about how you self-manage yourself, how you manage others, what you're saying in the marketplace, your brand, because it's an excellent opportunity to do what we do right now. Never have the environment and the conditions been so favorable. We just need to make sure that we align ourselves properly to take advantage. So we're coming down to the end of summer. We got a couple of weeks left officially of summer. School's going to be starting. People are going to get back to regular routines, kind of off that vacation mentality and mode. So now is an excellent opportunity to go out and build your business throughout the next 12 weeks leading up until Thanksgiving and get a whole lot done in a small compressed period of time. But that's not going to happen unless you get yourself together, get organized, time management, all the stuff that we talk about. Last week, we talked about something similar. Discipline equals dollars. So while discipline and freedom seem like they sit on opposite sides of the spectrum, they're actually very, very connected. Freedom is what everybody wants, including us as entrepreneurs. But the only way to get to a place of freedom is through discipline. So you have to understand that. And this week, we're talking about, like we mentioned, time to get real about what you're doing, because if you don't get real about the opportunity, if you don't take it seriously, and if you don't have a business mentality and you treat this like a hobby, you're never going to have the type of success that you want or that you see other people have, and it's going to frustrate you. So it's time to get real, and we're going to talk about really what that means today. Because like I said, there's never been more favorable conditions or an environment to be marketers, networkers, entrepreneurs. So understand this is the golden age of entrepreneurship. So you're sitting from like a macro point of view at a very, very good space. Also, within what we do, the cost of waiting, paying yourself first, the power of compound interest, the rule of 72, everything that we do, how money works, this conversation, you guys, is needed like never before. The environment's changing. We have inflation. We have rising interest rates. We've got a shaky stock market. So people are desperate for information. They're desperate for help. They're desperate to carve out some type of pathway to get them to an end desired result versus just drifting. So you have to understand that you're not out there trying to force into the marketplace something that nobody wants or needs, but you have to learn how to open conversations in a non-threatening way, asking questions, getting people's opinion, providing value. Like I said, this conversation, the education that we provide, the products and services that we have, needed now more than ever. Look at this. I mean, if you look at inflation, housing, transportation, and food, there's been massive inflation in all three of those categories, which takes up most people's largest percentage of their budget. So when you look at that, you understand that people are starting to struggle and people are looking for answers. It goes right back to what we said. As long as you're willing to open the conversation, start talking to people in a way that resonates with them, having them want more information, this is a very, very, very easy conversation. However, it's a very hard conversation. And it's actually no conversation if you never open your mouth and learn how to talk to people. At the end of the day, you guys, this is about what you want. So what are your biggest goals, priorities, and then how do you have a detailed plan to get there? Remember, we talk about this with our clients. We're trying in that discovery, figure out what our clients are wanting to accomplish. What's the motivating factor? What's the goals? They don't have any. It's going to be really hard to get them to an end point. We don't know what that is. Same thing with our partners. Same thing with us, you guys. You have to understand what you want to get out of this. What do you want out of your life? What do you want out of your business? Because once you understand what you want and it propels you, that vision, then we can get a detailed, organized plan to get you there. You also have to understand when you're looking at your business and looking at your life and getting real about this, little goals, they're so easy to just discount and they invite excuses. When your goals are big enough, those lies and excuses are no longer an option. And that's, the combination of a vision and goals that are selfish, stuff that I want, selfless, stuff that I can do for other people. When they're big enough, you can't, and you don't allow those excuses to manifest. If you've been in the setting, been in the environment before where you're making goals, you're making promises to yourself and they're not materializing, then making it real, getting real with yourself is about self-inventory. what stopped you in the past? You have to understand, what are the obstacles, pitfalls, roadblocks that you're going to encounter? And just like we do with our clients, how are we going to preemptively overcome those? And then on the opposite side, not what stopped you, but if we get there, if we get to that end desired destination, how will hitting your goals change your life, change your family's life, whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish? And then just like we ask for our clients, once we know where you are now, where you want to be, what are you willing to do to get there? Because we'll solve the problem, give you a solution for free. It's up to you to actually take the action steps. Same thing with ourselves and our partners. Making it real also means that you understand your business investment. Your business investment is not the small admin fees to get this up and running. Your business investment is whatever you command in the marketplace. We talked about this a few weeks ago. If you are having part-time hours and you can go out earning X for part-time work, that X is your business investment. On a part-time basis, if you command $50,000 in a salary, full-time basis, if you command $100,000, then that's your business investment for that year. And one of your primary objectives is to reach that, because until you reach that, you have a deficit of your time investment, right? We don't want to trade our time for money, but we also want to trade our time for a return. And our first active return that we're looking for is to make sure that we clear what we can make going out and doing what we don't want to do, which is trading our time for money. And then making it real, getting real with yourself is about daily management. Daily management is going to make or break your ability to earn income and have a successful business. So first things first, organization. If you are not organized in this business, stuff falls through the cracks. The more and more stuff falls through the cracks, that's revenue, income, that's growth. You start missing large amounts of that over time, your business is just going to flatline. And if it does, it's not going to be really that interesting to you, and you'll drift and quit. So organization is a make or break for your business. You have all these great technological tools out there that can help you get organized, but just simply writing somebody's name and their number on a piece of paper, attempting to contact them once because they reached out and then losing that piece of paper, that's not organization, guys. Organization is an A to Z approach and an A to Z structure for what you do with your business. Because once again, if you bring partners on and they ask you what you do and you can't explain it in a clear, concise, articulate way, you're screwed for distribution. You also, on a daily, mentality and, organizing yourself daily, you need to understand that just having random activity also is not going to materialize anything. You need to have intention. You need to have a direction for your action. You need to have an intention for your action. And then along the way, you absolutely have to set up targets and objectives. If there's no targets and there's no objectives, there's no way to measure your progress. There's no way to measure your progress. It's real easy just to, like we just said, drift and quit. So where are you trying to get to? And along the way, we have to measure that progress. How far away or how close are we getting, so we know if we're on the right path with the right action and activity or not. The success of your business is going to be the little stuff that you either do day in, day out, or you ignore it day in and day out. If you ignore it, success is not going to come. If you get dialed in to being a better person, better time management, better organized, all of the stuff that we need to be a better business owner and operator, those little things, making habits over X period of time, they have huge positive ripple effects for your business. But you have to understand, you don't go to the gym once every 6 months. You don't go to the gym once every 4 weeks. You go to the gym repeatedly to get the results. Same thing here. You have to actively work. Part of that is understanding that, you are in a contact business. You have to learn the art of communication. We tried to make this as easy as possible because you come out with a position of power, giving away free stuff, free guides, free education. So it's an easy conversation, but you have to have enough of them to get past the learning curve to do what we're asking you to do, which is open, continue, and direct conversations. This is all you have to do. If you master the art of opening, continuing, and directing conversations, and you get obsessed about helping people, the money is going to flow in for you. We have an appointment funnel. So our appointment funnel is very dialed in. It's very structured, and it's easy to use. So all you're doing is creating leads from guides, making sure those leads understand that we have some more value-based proposition for free education, getting them booked into those free education meetings. And if your job as a marketer, that's where it ends. Educator will take it over. But you have to understand that If you're relying on an educator to help make you money on a 50-50 split, and you're providing little to no leads or book meetings, or the book meetings you're providing are not in the persona of the people that we help, then it's going to be a lot of hard work versus a lot of smart work. Your personal plan is 12 to 15 appointments per week. That's making it real. That's getting your business up off the ground, gaining velocity. Now, if you're just a marketer, that means that you're scheduling 12 to 15 appointments per week for the educator. What's an appointment? Someone with a reason to do something. That's it. So if you can get in the habit and having a goal of scheduling these many meetings, the more meetings, the more velocity it will bring. The less meetings, the less velocity. But this is a good kind of pinpointed target or objective. 12 to 15 meetings as an educator, 12 to 15 meetings booked by a marketer. That creates a sales pipeline. Your sales pipeline is going to develop over 90 to 120 days. You have to understand that it's not going to develop over 6 days. So you have to understand that if you start developing a pipeline and then you quit developing that pipeline, start developing the pipeline again, that start and stop motion, that's never a full 90 days. So without that, it's just kind of like stuttering or just making like slight to no progress. You have to be willing to put in 90 to 120 days to build a pipeline. At that point, you have different peoples and different cycles of communication. You're recognizing revenue, income, and growth. Up to that point, your sole concentration is to build that pipeline. You build a pipeline by having data, people that you're talking to. Out of those people, we have offers. Interested parties come out, they create leads. Those leads go into meetings. The meetings create outcomes, good, bad, and ugly. Out of those, some of those are going to be good. Those good outcomes create growth. And from that growth, if it's clients, we can get user-generated content, referrals. They might have interest on the partner side. But if you're not doing enough to whittle down raw data into interested parties, leads, and meetings, there's nothing that we can really do to help you out. If you're doing that, we're going to do a lot on our side to help you to make sure that you're successful. You've got to take your swings out there. And if you were a professional athlete, if you're a musician, if you're a surgeon, all professionals, including sales reps, including marketers, you're going to get better with practice. So imagine, like, at the end of the day, if you were a golfer, how many swings did you take at the driving range that day? 0? Well, you're not going to get any better. On the other hand, if you've taken so many swings where you're kind of sore that day, probably a good leading indicator that your business is going to be on fire pretty soon. Get out there, practice, don't take rejection personally, but get out there and have enough of these conversations where you're filling up the pipeline, but you're also mastering the art of what we want you to do on the front side, which is opening, continuing, and directing communication. I put this slide in, a few times over the last number of weeks, but I think this is really, really important for us and also our partners coming in. What is the level of effort? And that's getting real, right? What is your level of effort? Because your level of effort that you tolerate from yourself is going to define your life. Same thing. You have to start teaching your partners and your clients this, especially your partners. That level of effort, whether it's high, low, that's going to be what defines your life. So if you go out there and you have maximum effort and you do that over X period of time, with our help, you're definitely going to build a booming and flourishing business. But you have to understand, it's all on you. The revenue and the income get generated from those upfront conversations. There's no upfront conversations. There's no end outcomes. There's no revenue and income. And also, you have to understand that from day one, you're responsible for 30% of your agency growth. The rest of the growth, 70%, will come from bringing in the right people, helping you out. But essentially, your partners and your clients per month, you have a 30% obligation. You start building an organization, you fall short, well, that's going to be wasted, revenue and income, but it's also not going to be leading by example. If people are looking at you and you're putting up little to nothing in the organization, they're supposed to be following your lead. They're actually going to start following your lack of lead. So understand, besides your responsibility of what you need to build your agency, you also have to understand you are a leader. And as you build an agency, people are looking to you for advice, direction, leadership. You need to be able to provide it. You also need to be able to think like a business owner. Even though you're in an opportunity where you might be not doing all the roles, you are still a business owner. You need to start thinking like a business owner. And that means invest in yourself. You need to constantly be learning new concepts, new strategies, looking at new ways that you can help yourself your clients, your partners. Invest in yourself, invest in your business, grow your business, and grow your assets. You also have certain tools of the trade. Not all of us need the same tools. Not maybe a tool is advantageous for you, but not advantageous for me. So you need to find things in your business, in your day-to-day business operations that are going to help you based on what you're good at, your strengths, based on what you're not good at, your weaknesses. What are some tools that can assist you? With time management, be more efficient, whatever it might be, adopt the tools. If they continue to work for you, continue to use them. They become stale or become outdated, get rid of them, get something new. Also, making it real, getting real about this is the understanding that your strategy, your vision, that huge gap between strategy and execution is lost revenue, income, and growth. The more that you can, take that gap and shorten it up, that's revenue and income that now is not lost, it's coming into your organization, and that's growth. You also, as a business owner, need to understand, we've tried to create a factory-like pipeline that's easy to manage. So what you want to do is make sure you understand the factory pipeline and then understand ways that you yourself can manage that pipeline efficiently and make sure that you're extracting the most possible value that you can, helping the most possible people on both sides of the fence, partner and client. And then you need to think expansion. If you're constantly thinking like locked in a box or kind of like little goals or whatever, it's going to harm you, it's going to harm your business, and it's going to hurt your ability to create what you want. You always, always, always have to think about expansion, because when you look at the point of resistance for scalability for a business like ours, you're not going to need infrastructure, you're not going to need capital. So you have it's wide open. You can go out and you can expand, you can have a nationwide business, you can have distribution of different products and services, and that's going to be very, very lucrative for you, but you can't get there thinking in a box. Also, if you're going to be a small business owner, you need to start surrounding yourself with small business owners, because A, you're going to learn to talk their language. B, those are some of the best clients that you can bring in. And C, you're going to learn from being around them. Being around entrepreneurs, small business owners, it helps you. It helps you, like I said, on the business side, talking to a certain persona, but also helps you as a person, grow as an entrepreneur, grow as a business owner, be kept up to date on things that can possibly help you. And then as a business owner, you need to carry that attitude. Always be thinking about your business, not a negative or derogatory attitude, but an attitude that I have something worthwhile. I'm putting myself in a great position to help a lot of people, and the money's going to follow. Have a good attitude. Check into your business every single day. Find something to be excited about, and then do the work, guys. I've used this slide before too. it would be as ludicrous as if you open a savings account and put no deposits going into that bank and trying to withdraw money. If you're not not doing the activity, if you're not making the calls, you're not creating the communication, then you can't expect at any point in the future to have any type of a business. Always one more. And Alana, was a prime example of this, yesterday. She was following up. She did one more call. It ended up being a very, very exciting call for her. So you have to understand that one more email, that one more text, that one more phone call can lead you to, explosive growth. It's not what I can do. It's not what you can do. Still in the infancy stages of what we're trying to do, you're a talent scout. If you can bring somebody in, introduce them to what we do, let them have access to our infrastructure, our network, and they run wild, well, guess what? You get richly rewarded for being that person that opened that conversation. And then you need to contact your team. The recruiting process doesn't stop when somebody comes into your organization. It's a 90-day process after that, making sure they're comfortable, they're past the learning curve, they're active, they're out there making things happen. If you're not contacting your team, then, in a virtual environment, it can feel like we're on a desert island. So if you're getting no contact from, the people that are around you that are supposed to be helping you, well, you're going to lose interest, lose motivation, drift, and quit. And one of the things that we really have to hone, guys, going forward is, what is your message to the people? So you have a persona, you understand where to find those people. Now, what is your message to that people that's really going to resonate with that persona, that crowd, and cause them to raise their hand and say, yes, I want more information. Yes, I want to talk to you. Because general interest is one of the first things that we gauge from the general interest interested parties. Will take them through the rest of the cycles of guides, education, outcomes. One of the things that you can also do, and this is probably one of the best pieces of advice that I can give you today, is if you're out there looking for that perfect hire, that perfect candidate, start by being the person that you want to hire. So go through your day-to-day activity with your attitude, your time management, your efficiencies, everything that we do. Be that number one person that you're looking for to hire. Be that person. Once you understand how to be that person, it's easier to attract that same type of person. And also, you've got to build a brand. You've got to be a brand. We've talked about this before. You've got to be seen and you've got to be heard. Your brand, yes, companies, products, and services that you back are great. But on the front side, you are the brand. You are the business. People are going to buy into you, who you are, what you do, why you do it, etc., before they buy into anything else. So live your brand. Let other people create user-generated content for you. Have a positive impact in the marketplace. Try stuff. Not everything works. Be willing to try, fail, go back to the starting board. Be consistent. Tell your story. Be genuine and have a direct focus, a meaning for your brand, and create momentum. Momentum is created in a lot of different ways: marketing, conversations, recruiting, sales, activity. Just like money compounds, and that's that uninterrupted growth, uninterrupted interest. That's what we teach our clients. Just like money compounds, so does your activity. So be the person you want to hire, surround yourself with like-minded people, and watch what happens. We've got to start. And the idea of postponing stuff because I'm not ready, I'm going to learn. Most people in this industry, they're constantly trying to learn how to get an upper advantage on the next person in the industry. Well, guess what? All that time, energy, resources you put into that, if you just want to put it into direct activity, making that one more call, that one more text, it's about the routine of the activity. You have to do it every single day. You're never going to be perfect at this. You're always going to have room for improvement, but waiting until you are perfect is just a veiled way to procrastinate and justify to yourself why you're not going to do anything today. It's all about relationships, guys. As a business owner, you want to create relationships. As a marketer, you want to create relationships. As a manager, you want to create relationships. As an educator, you want to create relationships. Focus on relationships. Like I said, get obsessed about helping people get to their end goals, desired outcomes, and your personal and your organizational goals will get there as well. This is more along the lines of the education, the sales process, but even on the front side, we're presenting solutions that are needed, that a lot of people are looking for. So what you have to do is you have to understand that when you are presenting a solution, you have to be confident in the marketplace. It's not, hey, I got something that might help you. Hey, I'm helping lots of people right now that are experiencing this, this, and this. If that sounds like a situation you're in, we have ways that we can help you. We have free guides, we have free education, but you have to come into the marketplace understanding you have something worthwhile, you have something that can make a difference, and that you want to make a difference. Step outside the comfort zone. I mean, this is nothing new. We continually talk about this. Growth and comfort do not coexist. As a business owner, you have to understand your way that you build your business and the way that you get to the top tier income in this country is doing the things that the other people are unwilling to do. You get there by discipline and association. The discipline to manage yourself, time management, create efficiency in your business, do all the things that we've been talking about, getting real with yourself, but also the association of who you represent for your products and services, who you align yourself with. Remember, look around your little inner circle. Whoever you're running with, combination of the 5 people that you spend the most time with, that's going to pretty much dictate what's going on with your life. So understand, yeah, we're in a virtual environment, but this is also an environment where the association, you can associate yourself with great people nationwide. No longer are you locked into this little territory where whoever shows up at the local office, you're going to get to learn from. You get the best leaders from around the country. So as we build, you're going to have the opportunity to associate yourself with a lot of great people. But in the very beginning, you control one thing, and that's the discipline you bring to the table. That allows you to lead the way and start now. Well, that's great, but what does that really mean? It means that you're showing the way. You're showing the way for yourself, you're showing the way for others, whether it be partners or clients, and you're using maps, which are making action plans. So showing the way, being disciplined, goal-oriented, having a plan of action, having a strategy, and executing that plan of action. Guys, that's all we have for this week. We'll continue next week to dive more into our business and hopefully give you guys some stuff that you can take away from these meetings, immediately implement in your business to make some positive ripple effects.